Dear students, esteemed colleagues, it is my special honor and great pleasure to welcome you to the second Link IT and EdTech International Conference. A year ago, Information Technological School and Faculty of Contemporary Arts came together with a common vision to encourage discussion on new scientific and artistic approaches and application on technologies in professional work. Our goal was to trigger positive changes and to spread knowledge and new ideas. This year, we will have the opportunity to hear 60 presentations, including students' works, as well as works within the special thematic session Start for Future. I was kindly asked to mention that the conference is accredited by ZURV. I'm looking forward to learn about the ideas and concepts that will be shared during the conference. I wish you successful work and thank you for joining us today and thank you for your attention. And now I will give a floor to my dear colleague Maja.
Dobar dan. Dobrodošli svi na našu drugu konferenciju, Link IT EdTech International konferenciju. U želji da pruži najbolje obrazovanje svima koji žele da se edukuju na pravi način, Link grupa je osnovao Link Education Alliance. Link je inače vodeća grupa multinacionalne kompanija sa više od 20 godina uspešno, da kažemo, poslovanjem. Kompanija posluje ne samo na teritoriji Srbije, već Bosne i Hercegovine, Rumenije, Ukrajine, Republike Moldavije, Sjedinjenih Američkih Država. A putem učenja na daljinu okuplja polaznike i preko 20 zemalja širom sveta. Obrazovne ustanove u sastavu Link Education Alliance omogućavaju školovanje za sve uzraste. Moderno obrazovanje je dostupno svakome bez obzira na godište i nivo znanja. Zahvaljujući širokoj lepezi znanja koje nude LEA članice, u mnogome je lakše doći do neophodnih znanja i veština koje traže najuspešnije svetske kompanije i na ovaj način možete da steknete međunarodne sertifikate i međunarodne diplome iz oblasti informacionih tehnologija, ali i modernog biznisa, koji je sve više aktuelni. Vrednost kojima konstantno težimo jeste kvalitet, relevantnost, inovativnost i značaj koncepta preduzetništva, kao i celoživotnog učenja. Naš cilj jeste da svojim radom i aktivnostima damo doprinos daljem razvoju, unapređenju obrazovanja i obrazovnog sistema kao ključnog nosioca razvoja društva u celini. Što se tiče praktičnog dela, mi koristimo mnoge edukativne robote i u osnovnoj, i u srednjoj, i na fakultetu, i visokoškolskim ustanovama. Jedan od njih je upravo danas tu sa nama, to je robot Pepper, koga ste videli prošle godine na otvaranju prve konferencije naše i sada je došao da vas pozdravi i svečano otvori ovu konferenciju sa nama. Kao što znate, pored robota Peppera, jer konstantno smo, da kažemo, aktivni na internetu, imamo i mnoge druge edukativne robote, kao i primjenu veštačke inteligencije, ne samo u prirodnim naukama, već i u društvenim naukama. Ja bih sada zamolila i Peppera da i on pozdravi goste. Ja mogu da uzmem? Ili ne? Možete svi. Dobro.
Glad to be here with the great people who are making this world to become better. This is a special event where we see future education to modern life and modern people. Let's open in Link IT and EdTech Conference.
Pepper je sada poželeo dobrodošlicu i otvorio ovu konferenciju. Htela bih još da napomenem da pored savremene tehnologije u koju svakako ulaže, da kažemo, svakodnevno Link, možemo reći da je u stvari ta tehnologija jeste pokretač i ove konferencije koja je sada danas, jeste ta jeste to obrazovanje i unapređenje tehnike naših profesora, naših nastavnika, ali i naših učenika i studenta. Tako da taj sklop, da kažemo, najnovije tehnologije, kao što vidite ovde robota, i naravno edukacije nastavnika i profesora je savršen spoj zašto u stvari mi jesmo broj 1, da kažemo, ne samo u Srbiji, Evropi, već i u celom svetu po obrazovanju i diplomama i sertifikatima koje mi nudimo. Direktore?
Hvala. Hoćemo uzeti program, pa možemo krenuti onda sa prvom. Okay, so we can start with our plenary session. Our first presenter is Professor Aleksandar Šević, and the title of Professor's exposure is Biometric Authentication, Challenges and Opportunities. Professor, please.
How do I listen to the file? Thank you, Professor Čalović. I would like also to thank Professor Ilić for having invited me again to present the second conference. Thank you. So today, the topic is slightly different, well, completely different from what generally I do in my life, because my focus is finance and international finance, but not really the IT so much. But I was interested in this topic because I realized that financial institutions are not safe from frauds. And probably you heard about all those things about quantum computing and the advancement of language processing, etc. at a mind-numbing speed. So definitely it's becoming quite difficult for financial institutions to protect customers and protect the data that they have. So I was thinking, just by focusing on this small area, at least to see what the opportunities are, what the challenges are, could be one small contribution, but still interesting somewhat. And these are the contents of the presentation. Short intro, then we'll talk about what biometrics is and why it matters. It's a very old concept so far, but still quite interesting from that continuous authentication process perspective. Then we'll talk about limitations, the opportunities. As we can see, I said the sky and the law is the limit, and we'll see why, and then some concluding remarks towards the end. So the intro. Europe is at the forefront of regulation. It hasn't been in so many areas, not only in this one. And one of the things that the companies, especially financial institutions, must follow is this NIS2. So starting from October this year, the reporting requirements will be quite onerous and quite more demanding compared to 2016, because when we have NIS2, most likely there was NIS1 as well. So the reason why this is quite important is that with the advancement of the natural language processing, it has become quite difficult, as I said before, for financial institutions to protect the data and the customers, so the access to the data of customers. And generally when you use your mobile phones, you know that you have the face recognition or you have the PIN number, so personal identification number. And generally now you have a two-step identification still as an option. So you can choose whether you get additional information via mobile phone or email. So they just want to check out twice that you are the person requesting access. But that's not the end of it, because probably it could become quite obsolete again quite soon. And then we have the advancement of something which is called the Internet of Things. So if you want to access your own smart home, your smart car, any of those smart devices, they just want to make sure that you are the person with that particular access. So they do have to find a way to make sure that you are the person entitled to have access to specific products. However, we have seen that we kept mentioning biometrics, but we also have to understand that the EU has already accepted the law on AI regulation, the first one in the world, unlike UK, US, Singapore, etc., that are trying actually to insert some legal requests into already existing legal documents. EU has decided to go a step further, and as you can imagine, even the day after the acceptance, the passing of the law, Canada and Singapore, for instance, were offering opportunities to European companies to leave Europe. So I just want to let you know to what extent the competition is so fierce, and at the same time, if EU or any other country or group of countries makes a mistake with the outreach of law, they could lose talent. So it's not easy to regulate. So what is biometrics? Well, the Americans, we can see they were one of the first ones to try to figure out what it's all about. So as you can see here, we have the ones that are called the physiological and behavioral. The one I would like to focus on is behavioral, because we behave differently, we move differently, we swipe differently, we weigh differently. But then again, physiological ones, as you can see by the name, whether it's the face or the eye or the ear or the fingerprints or the vein pattern or DNA, it goes on and on, because this is from 2006. And that's why I'm telling you the biometrics is basically whatever you can assume that it has high entropy. So that simply means that it's not easy to replicate out there in the population. So the higher the entropy, the better, the safer it is. And that's the reason why biometrics is further making additional steps. But when we have a look at the biometrics per se, there's a very simple model, so to speak, here, that whenever you try to authenticate something, you have to take a look at the template. So somebody scanned you before, whether it's your eye, ear, the type of movements, the keystrokes, etc. And then when they want to identify you, they try to this conditional difference very small. So we have here the Y bar as a predicted identity and Y as the real, true identity, whatever it is. I say whatever it is because when you're scanning and getting a template, you can make a mistake. The way you move may be slightly different from the usual ones. The way they scan could be also an error with the scanning machine. So it's not easy. So biometric is a problem when you believe that it's the overall general solution to every single problem out there in terms of identification. So what we're trying to do is, when you take a look at this formula, the entropy of Y given L is basically the entropy of the real identity that you have minus the entropy of the biometric template and the variation for the specific subject, which simply means we get old, we may get some chronic diseases, and then our behavior changes. All those things the artificial intelligence must recognize and predict in order to recognize us as a person with an access. So as you can see here, when you try to minimize this, how do you minimize? Well, basically the highest entropy of the template, and you have to reduce the intra-subject variation. So this is maximizing, this is minimizing, and that's how you can reduce the difference. So that simply means that our template should be the safest possible and the one that cannot be easily replicated, but at the same time, the intra-subject variation should be as small as possible. So obviously we get old, we change our patterns. As I said, we may have some neurological changes, and that will also affect the pattern. So it would be very difficult for us then to do something without artificial intelligence, then assuming that we're not there. You may already face that. I believe banks are using AI in figuring out whether you're a person committing a fraud or whether you're really the person using the credit card. and sometimes it could be really a problem when you have to call back and actually confirm that you're the person using the services. But that's one of the ways to protect ourselves from the malevolent actors, the ones that are actually after our own identification and financial means. So as you can see here, it's very important to have good quality hardware. That's where our students who would, for instance, would like in the future to join some of those companies making the hardware foolproof, would have to figure out how to scan the template in the best possible way and with the least possible mistake. This is what you call the noise. It's always there in financial world. We call it white noise, etc., but also I believe in electronics, etc. And here it could be the noise as well, because as I said, you may have a sweaty finger, you may not be moving the finger the way you should. Then again, the person invigilating the scanning, for instance, they may make a mistake because they don't realize that the scan is not perfect or as good as it's supposed to be. So there's so many factors are there, the human factors, the machine-related factors that could reduce the quality of the template. So the first step could be already affected, let alone subsequent recognition that must be out there and additional scanning that's necessary for you to be recognized as a user. So what could happen if the machine is not working and the entire system is compromised? Well, we may have bad matches or false non-matches. So basically we prevent persons like us, we're supposed to access our own account, but we cannot do that. Or you let criminals actually join your account because they realize that there's a margin of mistake, so they will try to do as many times as possible to access the system, to scan the biometrics and then realize, okay, I access the account so I can use it. So that's the reason why biometrics so far are not used as on a standalone basis. We do have combinations with PIN and then combined with biometrics. But you will see, even in educational institutions, biometrics can be quite useful, especially if you would like to make sure that the student on the other side of the computer in online teaching is the one with an access to it. So the first two, knowledge-based, you know your own PIN, or you know the pattern, how to open the mobile phone, to access the data. Those are all, as we can see, knowledge-based. Physical objects, or sometimes you have a card reader. So if you want to access some of the, let's say, the police services offered in Serbia, you do need sometimes the card reader, and that could be, as we can see, the physical object or different type of token, etc. And biometric is the third step. And that's the one that really has so many variations. I gave you a couple of examples like the keystrokes, etc. But then the way you write, obviously we have now experts and the AI is becoming quite good at recognizing your own handwriting. How you interact with a computer, so that's called a human-computer interaction. How you move the mouse, how you move the keyboard. If you have a touch screen, what kind of movements you have, swipes, etc. What kind of dynamics, the time between the swipes. All those things can be picked up by AI. And then even what's quite interesting, you have the low-level activity where they can access the logs, how you access the logs of a computer, how do you monitor the battery consumption, all those things. Muscle movements, how do you move your joints, skeleton movement, etc. All those things that can be examined. And finally, your habits. How do you walk? Quite interestingly. You've seen again in some of the sci-fi movies or action movies that they can recognize it by the way you move and they know you're not a subject with an entitled access. So that kind of technology is not new. But what is new is the idea that you can constantly monitor the person with an access to something. So that simply means that even if you make a mistake at the very beginning, you still can control for that particular access by monitoring the person, by taking a look at the way they move, their skeletal movements, their muscle movements, and everything else that could relate it to it. Why I'm telling you here that the sky's the limit. You can, whatever you believe that could be scanned, whatever you believe has a high entropy, you can put into that biometric control. So as you can imagine, we have a problem there because how much of your freedom and how much of your traits would you like to give up for that access to your data? So that's becoming a big problem because the law is there telling you you cannot store the individual data. You cannot store something that could individually recognize persons. And then we have some solutions towards the end. They say one of the ways is that we use the minimal level of traits for recognition, and then the server doesn't actually recognize what those traits are. So you send that back information to the person involved. Or one of the ways is de-identification. So you're not trying to figure out who that person is, because at one point in time you would de-identify that particular trait and nobody knows what that person is. So it's nowhere to be recorded. That could be one of the ways for that continuous authentication to work. But how would it work in, for instance, in education? There are already softwares out there. They're actually used for scanning the students on the other side of the spectrum. Why is it possible to do that? Because you take a look at their keystrokes. Because they have mobile watches, you can take a look at their heartbeat. So you can actually see whether they're anxious or not, whether they're paying attention or not. You take a look at their blinking, their facial expression. Those could be one of the ways for you to improve your teaching, because you know whether students are actually following you or not, and what part of lecture was interesting, so that you can pay more attention to it and less to something else. Again, the problem is how much data would students allow us to access, and of course, what are we going to do with that data once it's stored, because most likely it has to be deleted after a certain point in time. So what's the next from this point onwards? The improvements in this technology, trying to make biometric more foolproof and maybe used on a standalone basis, figuring out how the law will follow the technological advancements. Now ChatGPT-5 may have some reasoning involved. It would be very difficult for us to cope with technology unless we decide immediately to embrace it, not only in our everyday life, but also in teaching. And that's something which is becoming a challenge. And I hope that some of the answers will be provided by my colleagues who are actually more of an experts in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. And our next presenter is Professor Dusan Stojakovic. The title of his paper is The Importance of Using Project Library for Marketing Campaign Planning. But I think that Professor Stojakovic is absent, so we will continue. And our third presenter is Professor Roxana Bucea-Manea-Tonis. And the title of Professor presentation is Convolutional Neural Networks Impact on Social Media Communication. But also Professor Roxana is absent. So our fourth, Roxana is here. She's on the, sorry, so we will.
No? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, Professor.
Just a moment. I cannot hear anything. Just a moment. I increase the volume. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. I can't hear you at all. I don't know why, but important is, now it's important that you can hear me. So thank you very much for inviting me in your conference. I am Roxana Manea-Tonis, working in National University of Physical Education and Sport, but I am teaching marketing. I did a study on convolutional neural networks. So I decided to write this article. Let me share my presentation, just a moment. This one. Let's start from the beginning of the presentation, just a moment. Okay. Slideshow. So the paper that I'm presenting now is Convolutional Neural Networks Impact on Social Media Communication. We are talking about marketing again. Convolutional neural networks have significantly impacted social media communication by enhancing the way content is created, shared, and analyzed. We have to face a lot of information from social media. How to face this big data, this huge content of information? We can use CNN, convolutional neural networks. Why did these networks are so good to be used in social media communication? Because it help us to image and video recognition, enhance user experience, content creation and manipulation, analysis and social listening, advertising and marketing, security and fraud detection. Let's take a look of all of them, one by one. If we are talking about image and video recording, CNN excel at image and video recognition tasks, making them crucial for various social media features like automated tagging and content moderation. If we are talking about automated tagging, platforms like Facebook and Instagram use convolutional neural networks to automatically tag people in photos, recognize objects, and relevant tags. Okay, content moderation. If we are talking about content moderation, CNN help in detecting inappropriate content such as nudity and violence, ensuring that social media platform remains safe and compliant with community standards. Let's see further the enhanced user experience. Why do we need CNN for user experience? CNN contribute to a more personalized and engaging user experience through recommendation systems and augmented reality. Talking about recommendation system, by analyzing visual content preferences, CNN helps in recommending posts, ads, and accounts to users based on their interest, making a huge network. Augmented reality. Filters and effects used in apps like Snapchat or Instagram are powered by CNN, enhancing the way users interact with visual content. So look, all of us, we use CNN every day and we don't know. We are so high-tech in everything we are doing day by day. The third element, content creation and manipulation. Of course, we are talking now of drone of CNN, deepfake. Deepfake and GANs. GANs means generative adversarial networks. That is a type of CNN. They can create high realistic images and videos, leading to phenomenon of deepfake. This has both creative and ethical implications for social media communication. We know very well that at least in politics, deepfakes are very, very used nowadays and is very dangerous for all of us, in fact, and for children more than for adults. Artistic filters. This is a good part. CNN can apply artistic styles to photos and videos, allowing users to create visually stunning content easily. Let's talk about sentiment analysis and social listening. The image talks for me. While CNN are traditionally used for visual data, they also contribute to analyzing textual context when combined with other neural networks type. So it is used for emotion detection videos, like in the image below, by analyzing facial expression and body language in videos. CNN can help gauge the emotional tone of a conversation or a post. So we can take action in accordance with the post. Social listening. Brands are using CNN to monitor visual mention of their products across social media, enabling better engagement and customer service. And of course, advertising. We are talking about marketing. CNN enhance the effectiveness of social media marketing strategies by two means: targeting advertising and visual search. Targeting advertising by analyzing visual content that users engage with. CNN help in delivering more relevant ads and increase the chances the user interact with conversation. So we enhance a better huge network between all people all around the world. Visual search platforms like Pinterest use CNN to allow users to search for items using images, facilitating shopping and discovery directly from visual content. This is a new facilitate of Pinterest. And of course, the security and fraud detection is also very important, as we have deepfakes and GANs, generative adversarial networks. We have also fake account detection made by CNN. Ensuring that the security of users on social media is another area where CNN play a vital role. Talking about fake account detection, CNN help in identifying profile by analyzing profile pictures and other visual content and saying if the account might be fake or not. Content authentication. Techniques like watermarking or detecting manipulated image or videos help in verifying and in the authenticity of visual content shared on social media. In fact, CNN is very good in showing if an image was improved. And of course, we have drawbacks of these CNN networks, like privacy concern, ethical implication, biases and fairness. Without their advantages, the CNNs in social media communication present also some challenges. Automated image recognition and tagging can raise privacy issues among users. Also, the creation of realistic fake content can lead to misfortune, misinformation, and deception. CNN can inadequately reinforce biases, presenting in the training data leading to unfair outcomes and in content moderation and recommendations. So it means that everything that is unfair can be detected also with CNN. It also helps us with some recommendation and content. This was what I found in the literature review regarding CNN. So I decided to make a study on our students in our Academy of Economic Affairs in Bucharest, we have neuromarketing lab, and all the students are making a lot of simulation in this lab. So we make a study, a survey on our students. We also have made a qualitative analysis. We had some interviews with our students and find out the most important, the most interesting elements regarding CNN. So we decided we start from the hypothesis that CNN in social media communication can use the business, the company, to create wise, smart, innovative, strategic marketing campaigns. All the subjects were informed regarding GDPR, General Data Protection, and also the survey was validated by marketing experts and social psychologists, was applied anonymous. We asked also for the user contents, and the result of our study might be seen in this image. So our hypothesis was that applying CNN in social media content, social media communication, we might get better, we might design better marketing strategies. So we took all the elements regarding emotional. We have here two reflective variables, one formative, one reflective variable. So the formative variable CNN was analyzed by 5 questions, the other one by 9 questions. So each element of this each sub-item of this variable represents a question in our survey, like neural networks detect emotional content. Neural networks have different iteration, use many iteration in discovering content. Neural networks use photos to identify person, use photos to content authentication, to deepfake, and so on. Neural networks use a model, a mathematical model, in the way of analyzing the photos and the content on social media. And also conventional neural networks also are used in association with webcams to analyze video content. So convolutional neural networks, we may see that positively impact the social media content. Why we can affirm this? Because the path coefficient is 0.65. We also may see that the values, especially for the reflective variable, are over 0.6, which is very good, meaning that our variable has, they form a very good variable together, talking about social media. And here, talking about social media communication, we talk about how to develop audiences on social media, how to develop content, how to develop stories behind the scene eventually, how to increase interest in a subject, how to design engaging messages, how to get feedback from our fans or maybe clients, and which are their reaction to different images, to different marketing campaign. We also talk about privacy in social media, and the tactics. So all these elements, issues in this image represents questions. Questions, and the answer was coded, and we get to a 0.42 R square, meaning that this regression, least square regression, is pretty good. 42 of the CNN variable is explained by the variances of all these issues, 9 elements of our model. In this table, we may see the loading factors for all sub-items of each variable. We may see the Cronbach alpha that is very high, meaning that our variable form a very strong variable social media. They are very the questions altogether are very well related to social media content, and they covered most of the subjects regarding social media content. RH is a correlation coefficient for nominal variables. We don't have nominal variables, but in this kind of factorial analysis, we usually count on Spearman correlation, on RHOA. So this correlation is extremely strong and positive, meaning that the higher the potential of CNN, the higher the results in social media content. We also analyze the average. This means average of variable variance extracted, meaning that all these variables are one by each other, like in variables.
Sorry.
They show a very good model. Yes, I am ready to finish. Probably this is your asking, isn't it? Is your question?
Sorry, respected professor. Sorry for interrupting you, but our time is run, so maybe may I kindly ask you to jump to the conclusion? Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So our conclusion was the same, like in literature review. Our students has the same opinion, like international specialists in marketing, that convolutional neural network revolutionize social media communication by improving content recognition, enhancing user experience, enable sophisticated content creating, providing powerful tools for marketing and security. However, it is essential to address the associated challenges like deepfakes, ensure ethical issues, fair use of this technology. So now please let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, good. Great, thank you, Professor. So I just informed that Professor Dusan Stojkovic has joined us. So I would, okay, great. The title of Professor's expose is The Importance of Using Project Library for Marketing Campaign Planning. So Professor, please.
Thank you so much. I would like to congratulate the organizers for an outstanding conference, and let me jump directly to my presentation. Just let me share. 1 second, please. So I hope in a second you would see my screen online. Do you see it now? Can anyone confirm if my screen is being shared? Okay, thank you so much. So let me jump to my slides. So, importance of using Project Libre tool for marketing campaign planning. Project management is very sophisticated, but very simple area if you approach it in the appropriate way. So through this paper, my colleagues and me, Milica Ivremović, Dragana Seifert, Ana Bašić, Srđan Barzut, and myself try to state out the importance of approaching the project management in the right way, but also committing to the use of very effective digital tools like Project Libre. And you would see throughout these slides why this is important, what was interesting for us. So in today's very dynamic and rapid and sudden changes around us and very, very agile surroundings, project management implies not only the use of knowledge, skills, and project managers and all members of the project team, but also it relies on some simple and handy solutions that could improve this area overall. Development of a large number of tools helps to realize the project management with the smallest possible deviations from the planned plans, define goals, establish deadlines, prescribed quality, and planned budget. And all of you that had any contact with project management know that it is most important to leave these deviations smallest possible during the planning and implementation of the project. The Project Libre tool, it is one digital tool that is used for less complex projects. It's important to state out that we try to focus on less complex projects. It offers limited but sufficient monitoring capabilities and quick detection of any irregularities in less complex projects. And just to position our topic, our keywords are project management, marketing, campaign, and Project Libre as a tool that we use. So the case that is used in this paper is one marketing campaign, and we approach this marketing campaign as one single project. So the planned campaign will be implemented in the period of June 1st, 2024. So it is the future project and will last for 3 months. So this is something that was analyzed for the compilation and planning of this project. So what was behind the idea of establishing such campaign? It is the necessity that came out of noticing a decline in sales of summer clothing, and this downward trend in sales has been observed in the last 3 years, and it is increasing by 2% every year. So the case is pretty precise. So what was the idea? To have a summer sale spectacular. It's a marketing campaign designed to increase the sales, to overcome the problems, the lack of achieving the planned revenue, and so on. The campaign will include exclusive discounts, promotions, and special product offers. So it's a sophisticated multi-layer campaign. And the campaign planning started on 21st of March, 2024. So just to recall, the launch of the campaign will be June 1st. So the main goal of the summer sale spectacle is to increase sales by 20% compared to the summer season on the previous year. So we have very sufficient goal. So the following goals were derived from the main goal. It is to increase website traffic by 30%, so to generate traffic, then to generate 500 new leads, and to increase user engagement on social media by 50%. It came out after the analysis and after SWOT, of course, that this would help in achieving the goals. So these are sub-goals. So the SWOT analysis and marketing mix and environment analysis market segments were derived according to which the marketing campaign will be adjusted. So these were the inputs for us to find the best outputs and solutions. And it is important to stress out that project team consists of 6 executives responsible for the 5 work packages in the project. And last but not least, the budget of this campaign, you will see later on precisely, but it is approximately 30,000 euros. So what about stakeholders? When we're dealing with the project management and when we're dealing with campaigns and projects in general, we need to rely on our stakeholders. We need to realize what are the stakeholders, we need to map them, to prioritize them. And in this case, we had 2 segments of stakeholders, internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. We were depending on them. So internal ones are company management, then marketing department, then sales department, then the logistics department, and then customer service department. So these are directly or indirectly linked as work streams within the company with what is being done to increase the sales. So external stakeholders, these are customers, of course, then suppliers, then local community, and then the media. These are all external factors of influence over our campaign, so they're important for us as well. So on this slide, you could see work breakdown structure. So starting from the top level campaign, then from some phases, project initiation, then campaign planning, then creative development, then campaign implementation, of course, results analysis and project conclusion. So these are the work packages, and these are formatted according to the 4 main management aspects of any kind of management, including project management here. So you see that we, from planning to execution to control and project closing, we have all in place here. Not to go into details now, but you see them on the graph. The next one, just to give you some more idea about the work packages. So we had project initiation, then campaign planning, then creative development. But what were the project duties? It is defined as separate work packages, executors in change of implementation, necessary collaborators, collaborators and coordinators, and assigned for each work package. So we precisely defined who is who and who is having what duties and responsibilities in this ecosystem. For the project initiation work package, responsible for the overall coordination of the project, setting goals, deadlines, ensuring the smooth execution of the campaign, the person in charge of implementation is the project manager himself, logically. While the marketing strategist, content creator, graphic designer, and data analyst have the role of collaborators in this part of the project. So since this is multi-layer project manager is the one, but he is also depending and relying on the positions that I just mentioned. For the campaign planning work package, develops the campaign strategy, identifies the target audience, and defines key messages and positioning. The person in charge of implementation of this one is marketing strategist and working closely to the project manager, while the project manager has the role of coordinator. For the creative development work package that creates engaging content across channels such as blog posts, social media updates, and in general, user-generated the content as well, and email campaigns, the content creator is the person in charge of the implementation. So this is not the only part of work packages. Let me continue with some other aspects that were important for us and that were presented in the graph you just saw a few slides ago. So for the graphic design work package, it is important because of designs, visual assets, including banners, infographics, and social media graphics, ensuring brand consistency. This is important to state out. The person in charge of implementation is the graphic designer himself, while the content creator is his subcontractor, and also they're in close connection with the project manager. For the campaign implementation work package, the project manager is in charge of implementation, the marketing strategist has the role of a coordinator, and the content creator and graphic designer have the roles of collaborators. Why this is important? This is a bit complex because the project manager is in charge for the project itself. But since the inputs that are being done inside have the outputs externally, that is important to have the marketing strategy as a coordinator here, just not to be misunderstood. For the data analyst work package, collects and analyzes data, providing insights into campaign performance, audience behavior, and actionable recommendations. A data analyst is responsible for implementation, and he is also giving his inputs to all the other team members and especially to the project manager. For the project conclusion, the work package, the project manager is responsible for the implementation of this work package. So on this slide here, you see what is the split of the budget. And this is what I mentioned previously. This is the more concrete split of the budget, and it is according to the phase for human resources, cost of materials, equipment, subcontracting, project management costs itself, and you have total cost, of course. Then you have marketing materials and design, paid advertising, email marketing, partnership with influencers, content creation, additional expenses, and of course, sum of all expenses is something above 30K of euros. So that was the budget that was dedicated to this campaign. But of course, when you deal with project management and with the campaigns, if a campaign is a case study for this, risk management is a very important aspect. So the risks that we were dealing with were financial risks, risks of unforeseen events, technical risks, and you will see some more later on. So marketing campaign costs can be high and expected sales revenue can be unpredictable. So logically, this is one of the main financial risks. So the idea was to study using strategies like discounts or limited time offers that can increase revenue and reduce the risks of financial loss, which is important in this case because this is the starting point that the sales is decreased. It's a seasonal thing. So yeah. Risks of unforeseen events such as bad weather, changes in the economy, or emergency situations such as pandemics and so on can significantly influence this project and this campaign. For example, some phenomena like earthquake or whatever could also unplanned influence this and bring the project to very thin ice about its completion. So technical risks, technical errors or breakdowns in the technological infrastructure like website or some hacker attacks or online payments failure and so on can lead to interruptions in the campaign and loss of sales. So let me continue. We had then competitive risks because competition could also realize what we are doing with the campaign and they could also offer some other solutions. So we tried by studying the competition, monitoring their activities to react quickly and direct the ongoing campaign or to adjust it to what is needed at the moment ad hoc. So logistical risks, that there could be some potential problems in supply chain, delivery or storage of goods that can cause delays in delivery of the products to customers, and the customers could be unsatisfied because of this and so on. So the idea was to work closer with the suppliers and to make contingency plans, of course, to respond to unexpected logistical problem, to reduce these type of risks, and this paid off this would pay off in the implementation phase. So reputational risks, especially in the era of fast fashion and sustainability on the other side, we need to be careful about how to position our sales in our brand. So failure to meet customer expectations or product quality issues can negatively impact a brand's reputation and damage the business in the long term. So what is the prevention method? By maintaining a high standard of product and service quality, responding quickly to negative customer feedbacks, and you could always have some negative feedbacks that are not primarily linked to what you do as a company, but what is the attitude of target groups. And handling complaints properly, we can defend against these type of risks. Okay, last but not least, we had some legal risks or some potential legal risks, risks of a poorly targeted campaign, risk of product shortages, and risk of poor planning and project management. I will not go deeply into these risks. I just wanted to give you the overview of what is the ecosystem that we had as the input to approach this project. And just let me go to the next slide. It is important to state out that we had to define our control points. So we had purpose of control, what is control, control point, and participants of the control meeting. I mentioned a few slides ago throughout the work breakdown structure, who is who in this project, but let me just point out what are the control points. So we had some control points before the campaign launch to see if everything is set up, if everything is in place. Then the next one, campaign start date. We need to see on the start date if everything works properly, if everything is in place. Then regularly, even during the campaign, what we control each day during the campaign. Then regularly, for example, every few days or weeks during the campaign, what we checked, some inventory checks. During the campaign, some customer satisfaction control, because the satisfaction of customers is something that is one of the KPI of this campaign. And then regularly, for example, weekly or monthly during the campaign, financial control, of course, and during the campaign, adjusting the strategy, and after the campaign ends, final control, conclusion of the campaign, and final check if we met what was expected from the campaign itself. So, in order to execute all the checkpoints, we need to use monitoring as a technique. So, sorry? Yes? Yeah, okay. I have only 2 more slides. 1 second. So monitoring we used, you could see here what is the overview, how the project Libre tool looks like. We chose one project tool, how to deal with it as a digital tool. So these are resources, this was the timeline, so reporting looks like this, and I would jump to the conclusions. A successfully implemented project, those projects that are completed within the foreseen scope, plan quality, time and budget are the ones that are considered successful. For us, Project Libre tool was very good one to see if we meet the clearly defined goals. Project planning, timely monitoring and control of the project, risk assessment and control, top management support provided, adaptation of organizational structure for the management of the specific project, quality selected resources, and so on. For us, it was important to offer the project manager himself, to offer him the overview of what is in there as important inputs, and to stress out if any deviation occurs. So this was the importance of our tool that we used, and that is called Project Libre. Sorry if I used some more minutes than planned, but this was very outstanding.
Yes, great. Great, thank you, Professor. And our fourth presenter is Professor Elena Gurgu. The title of Professor's presentation is Empowering Educators Strategies for Effective Integration of Information Technologies in Academic Teaching and Learning. And we have pre-recorded presentation. So maybe we can...
Hi everyone, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests. It is an immense honor to be here today at the second Link IT and EdTech International Conference 2024. My name is Elena Gurgu and I represent as Associate Professor and Journal Editor Spiru Haret University, the Faculty of Economic Sciences from Bucharest, Romania, as well as the Directorate for Culture of the Bucharest Municipality from the Romanian Ministry of Culture. First of all, please allow me to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Valentin Culeto, President of Link IT, and also to my esteemed academic friend, Professor Milena Ilic from the Faculty of Contemporary Arts. Also, I want to extend my gratitude to the management of Information Technology School and the management of the Institute for Contemporary Education. Thank you for the invitation to speak at this prestigious event. Today, we gather at a unique juncture in the evolution of education. We stand on the cusp of a technological revolution that promises to transform the way we teach and the way we learn. Of course, our goal at this conference is to explore the application of information technologies in education and also to try to facilitate the exchange of knowledge and the exchange of ideas among experts in both education and information and communication technologies. The title of my speech today is about empowering educators. It is about strategies for effective integration of information technologies in academic teaching and learning. As we delve into this topic, it is essential to recognize the profound impact that information technology can have on education. When effectively integrated, IT can enhance the learning experience, making it more engaging, more personalized, more accessible. As we all already know, information technologies offer a plethora of tools and also platforms that can transform traditional education paradigms. From virtual classrooms to interactive simulations to data analytics and artificial intelligence, these technologies can provide educators with unprecedented capabilities to address diverse learning needs
and foster a more inclusive educational environment. However, while the potential of IT in education is vast, the journey to effective integration is fraught with challenges. Many educators face barriers such as limited resources, such as inadequate training, as resistance to change. Furthermore, there is often a gap between technological advancements and their practical application in the classroom. To bridge this gap, we must adopt a strategic approach that focuses on empowering educators. This means providing them with the necessary tools, with the necessary training, and support to harness the full potential of information technologies. In my speech and also in my paper, I chose to share with you some examples taken from the most important strategies used by the best universities in the world. One of the most critical aspects of empowering the educators is providing ongoing professional development and training. For example, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, offers an exemplary model with its MIT X MicroMasters program. This initiative of MIT provides online courses and credentials, allowing educators worldwide to gain expertise in subjects like data science, like supply chain management, and more. This platform from MIT not only offers high-quality content, but also enables educators to experience cutting-edge, even teaching methodologies for the first hand. Building a community of practice where educators can collaborate, can share experiences, and learn from one another is vital now. Another example is the one from Stanford University. Stanford University has a graduate school of education that hosts the Learning, Design, and Technology program called LDT. This LDT program emphasizes collaborative learning throughout projects, throughout workshops, fostering a community where educators and technologists work together to develop innovative education tools and also new strategies. Ensuring that educators have access to the necessary technological resources is fundamental. We have here another example, an example from the Harvard University that exemplifies this approach with its Harvard X initiative. Throughout Harvard X, the university provides free and open access to a wide range of courses, allowing educators to integrate high-quality content into their own teaching. Additionally, the platform from Harvard offers insight into how to effectively utilize these resources in diverse educational settings. Also, educational institutions must develop policies that support the integration of technology in teaching and learning. We have here another example, taken from the University of Oxford that has implemented the digital education strategy, which aims to enhance the digital capabilities of both students and staff. As we see, this strategy includes providing robust digital infrastructures, offering comprehensive training programs, and fostering a culture that encourages the innovative use of technology in education. While technology can be a powerful enabler, it is essential to keep the focus on pedagogical outcomes. Here comes the example of the University of Cambridge, that has pioneered the Cambridge Digital Education Future Initiatives. This initiative explores how digital technologies can support innovative teaching practices and improve learning outcomes. By conducting research and pilot projects, the initiative of Cambridge University provides valuable insights into effective technology integration, ensuring that pedagogical goals remain at the forefront. Continuous evaluation and feedback are also crucial for refining and improving the integration of technology in education. Here we have another example, taken from the University of Melbourne, who utilizes the learning management system, LMS, called, in a way, a feedback model. This feedback model allows educators to collect real-time feedback from students on their learning experiences. The data collected is then used to inform instructional strategies and improve the effectiveness of technology-enhanced learning environments. In conclusion, the effective integration of information technologies in academic teaching and learning is not just about adopting the latest tools and gadgets. It is about empowering educators to create meaningful and engaging learning experience that can then prepare students for the challenges of the future. By providing the necessary training, resources, and support, we can ensure that educators are well equipped to navigate the complexities of the digital age. As we move forward, let us remember that technology is a means to an end, not an end in itself. So our goal is to enhance the educational experience and foster a culture of lifelong learning. So we together can transform education and create a brighter future. Hi everyone, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests. It is an immense honor to be here today at the second
Many thanks to Professor Gurgu. And now I would like to open a discussion. So do we have any questions, suggestions, comments regarding presented papers? If we do not have, I suppose session A and session B will be started immediately. So, okay, great. Thank you.